taste and odor, deterioration, and loss of nutrients. Example, rotten eggs develop a bad smell due to formation of hydrogen sulfide gas and decaying of vegetables and fruits due to microbes. Rancidity of fishes and meat. What is meant by rancidity? Bad odor or stale smell. Fishes and meat containing high level of polyunsaturated fatty acids that undergo oxidation causes bad odor when exposed to air or light. This process is called rancidity. Why apples and fruits turn brown when they cut? The reason apples and some fruits turn brown due to chemical reaction with oxygen in air. This chemical reaction is called browning. The cells of apples, fruits and other vegetables contain an enzyme called polyphenol oxidase that when in contact with oxygen catalyzes a biochemical reaction of plants' phenolic compounds to brown pigments known as melanins. Environmental effects. Environment is the place around you that comprises both living and non-living things. Our environment provides air to breathe, water to drink, and the land to produce food. Due to human activities like industries, increasing number of automobiles, etc., our environment is badly affected nowadays. So, there is an unwanted change in physical, chemical, and biological properties of the environment. This is termed as pollution. The substance which cause these changes are called pollutants. Generally, there are three types of pollutions, viz. Air, water, and land pollution. Due to increasing human activities, lot of chemical substances are produced artificially which harm all the living and non-living things. We can tabulate the type of chemical substances and their effects. See, the chemical substances responsible for the air pollutions are carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, oxides of sulfur, oxides of nitrogen, chlorofluorocarbons, methane, etc. What are the effects of these substances? Acid rain, global warming, respiratory problems, etc. Next, the chemical substances responsible for the water pollution is the chemical substances in the wastewater. Example, dyeing industries, detergents, oil spillage, etc. So what are the effects of this water pollution? They are decreasing the quality of water and causing skin diseases. Next, the chemical substances responsible for the land pollutions are fertilizers like urea, various pesticides, herbicides, etc. So what are the effects of these? They are spoilage of land, cancer, respiratory diseases, etc. What happens to the steel benches and tables during rainy season? They turn into reddish brown, isn't it? Do you know why? This is because the iron metal comes into contact with water and oxygen. It undergoes a chemical reaction called rusting. Tarnishing of metal articles. Shiny metal surfaces and other articles lose their shining appearance due to chemical reactions on the surface. For example, silver articles become black on exposure to atmospheric air. Similarly, brass vessels which contain copper as one of the constituents develop a greenish layer on exposure to air for a long time. This is due to a chemical reaction between copper and moist air to form basic copper carbonate and copper hydroxide. When chemical reactions takes place, there will be production of heat, light, sound and pressure. Come, let's discuss it. First one, production of heat. Have you ever rubbed your palms in winter season to keep yourself warm? Have you noticed the heat produced when you use cycle pump? Chemical reactions also produce heat energy. Such reactions are called exothermic reactions. This we already learned earlier. For example, when you add water to quicklime, that is to calcium oxide, a lot of heat is released to produce slag lime, that is calcium hydroxide. So, we conclude that some chemical reactions produce heat energy. Production of light. What happens when you ignite a candle? You get light as a result of burning. Some chemical reactions like these produce light. For example, look at the picture. When a piece of magnesium ribbon is burnt in flame, bright light is produced with heat. Even the fireworks during festival times produce different color lights, which are all due to chemical reactions. Similarly, when we ignite methane gas, it produces heat and light. So we can say that light is produced during the chemical reactions. Production of sound. We produce sound when we speak. When you hit metals like iron, copper, etc., sound is heard. Some chemical reactions do produce sound when they take place. What happens when you fire cracker during Deepavali? The chemical substances kept in cracker undergo some chemical reactions to produce sound. So, sound will be produced in certain chemical reactions. For example, when a metal like zinc or magnesium reacts with diluted acids, hydrogen gas is produced. See here in the picture, the reaction of magnesium and dilute HCl and the reaction of zinc and dilute HCl is shown. See here, when the magnesium strip is inside the dilute acid, the bubbles of gas is rising up to the surface. What is that bubbles? They are hydrogen gas. That hydrogen gas is reacting with the oxygen in the air and producing the pop sound. This is what's happening in the zinc and dilute HCl. Production of pressure. What happens when you compress hard a balloon having full of air? Will it burst or not? Yes, it will burst. This is due to sudden release of air from the balloons as a result of increased pressure on compression. Like this, some chemical reactions produce gases which build up the pressure when the reaction takes place in a closed container. If the pressure level goes beyond the limit, we get the explosion. So, explosive fireworks or work on this basis. When they are ignited, they explode due to pressure generated by gases from the chemical reactions. Thus, you hear a huge sound. So, we conclude that pressure can be generated by certain chemical reactions. Evolution of gas, change in color and change in state. In addition to above effects, certain other effects may also take place as a result of chemical reactions. First one, evolution of gas. What happens when you open a soda bottle? You can see air bubbles coming out of soda water. Similarly, gas evolution may take place as a result of chemical reactions. For example, when dilute hydrochloric acid is added to a solution of sodium carbonate or sodium bicarbonate, carbon dioxide gas is evolved. This you can see in the picture. The HCl and NaHCO3 produces the CO2 gas. That means hydrochloric acid and sodium bicarbonate produces the carbon dioxide gas. Next, change in color. What happens when you play under hot sand for a long time? Your skin becomes dark, right? Like this, certain chemical changes produce change in color. For example, when you place an iron nail in a solution of copper sulfate, the blue color of copper sulfate slowly changes into green due to chemical reaction between iron and copper sulfate solution. This you can see in the picture. Next, change in state. Take a small ice cube and place it on a plate. What happens after some time? Ice melts into water, isn't it? Here, solid ice cubes change into liquid water. Like this, in certain chemical reaction, change of state is observed. For example, when you burn a piece of camphor, smoke comes out as a result of chemical reaction between solid camphor and oxygen. Here, what's happened? The solid state of camphor is changed into gaseous state. Let's see some glossaries for better understanding. What is the meaning of irreversible? No reverse action.